So over the past few weeks on this channel, I've been covering horror games of all different kinds, and I've been planning on covering much more in the future. You know, some of the games I'll be talking about later on are a lot more open world, and they can depend on the player slowly degrading into a fear-like madness, as the uneasy setting of the game can make its way into someone's head and completely fuck with them. Or maybe other games that I'll be talking about are a lot more linear, and uses scripted events to scare a player all at once, so that way the game can put the player on their guard for any more encounters for the rest of the game. Like, there are so many differing takes on horror, as the video game developers making the games always have differing takes on what can actually scare a player. And you know, that's why I really like horror, as good horror doesn't need to be repeated or become cliche or have jump scares every 5 seconds and become overused. And if they are, you're probably just looking at a very bad game, like Hello Neighbor 2. Yes, I've tested out the beta to see if Tiny Build improved on the first game after making my video, and to answer your question, no they didn't. But with that said, that reason is the reason in which I like more indie games in the horror genre. Sure, there's some amazing titles from AAA studios that can scare the absolute shit out of me. Games like Dead Space, Resident Evil, and Outlast are perfect examples that utilize horror in a great way. But a lot of the time, there are some hidden gems in the indie scene that are widely slept up upon. Games like The Iron Lung has not one jump scare in it, but the game knows how to make the player scared shitless while being inside of a metal coffin. Other games like Amnesia did so well with the survival horror aspect to the point where the game became mainstream due to the early days of YouTube covering it. And yes, I do know that some indie games can suck so much donkey dick with horror, but the ones that try even just the smallest bit to be good create so much charm, and that makes the game pretty enjoyable. And the game that I'll be talking about today is no different. This is For the Darkness, an indie game created by N4BA. Not much is really said about the developers from what I could find. All I do know is that they've released much more smaller games onto places like itch.io and some onto Steam, with From the Darkness being their most popular game by a long shot. And I would say that's a pretty good thing. From the Darkness is their latest release, with it coming out on late March of last year. The game has an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam, with it being a 9 out of 10 overall with the 1,300 people who reviewed it. Out of all the games available by the developers, this game looks to be the most appealing out of the bunch, with the premise of the game acting as a type of escape room being pretty charming. And by the store page alone, the game grasps you on the good-looking graphics, the smooth gameplay, and the horrors within the game. But what is this game like? Maybe the game is just smoke and mirrors, and when you actually get to play it, it's a garbage Unity game that couldn't even scare a toddler. But it's not actually. The game is pretty solid. There are some flaws within the game, no doubt, but I believe that the game is fairly enjoyable, and it has moments that made me piss my pants out of fear. For it being an hour long, there were some pretty memorable moments and things that the game did really well to make the people playing it feel uneasy and wanting to find safety and comfortability. I love the game for what it's worth, and as you guys watch the video, I hope you all will too. Of course, just like all my videos in which I dissect games, there will be spoilers, so if you do want to play the game, go do so. But with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and watch as this creepy ass motherfucker doll stares you down deep into your soul. Goddamn, I hate dolls. The game starts off with you entering an old apartment complex in what seems to be post-Soviet Russia. You were just a nameless guy trying to collect a passed-down family album that you have inherited from your now-deceased grandfather. Already off the bat, the game wastes no time by putting you in an anxious environment. You're supposed to make it up to room number 64, but going up the stairwell, you'll encounter flickering lights, worn-out wallpaper, hell, even an elevator that is barely functioning is opening and closing on one of these floors. But anyways, you eventually make it to your grandfather's apartment to find a warning sign stating that if there are any more loud noises coming from here, the neighbors will call the police. Ooh, scary. Wonder what it is, boys. You enter the apartment to find everything to be pitch black, in which you have to turn on the power. The concept alone of unlocking the breaker is pretty simple enough, but just going into the main room to pick up the key and then unlocking the door could not be any more unsettling. You quickly get a feeling of being watched, like you've just entered someone or something's territory, and now that something is waiting just for the right moment to attack you. And that couldn't be any more true when the lights eventually do come on. They immediately start to flicker, one bulb actually breaks, and one from a still pitch black room, you can see a pair of eyes staring at you and everything that you do. Like I said, this game wastes no time scaring you. You might have been safe for like the first 5 minutes or so from the ghost, but just know that safety doesn't always mean comfortability. The lights soon turn off, and you have to go back to the breaker to turn it back on, and this is now the point where the ghost starts to taunt you. You see, the game has a really cool feature that the environment still goes on while you're doing your own thing. While you're collecting items and solving puzzles, the game actively has moments where the lights can flicker, or some stuff gets moved around, or if you can be perceptive enough, you can see dark frames of ghosts ghosts in already poor lit areas. There are definitely some moments in which I didn't notice anything going on, and I think it gives a unique playthrough for everyone wanting to play From the Darkness, as their playthrough won't be the same as mine. After roaming about, you find a switch to turn on the lights in the bedroom. You get that from the closet that's next to the front door, but when you finally do turn on the lights to the bedroom,
Dude, I hope you know.
oh god,
I'm done! I am done!
you get introduced with this little motherfucker. God damn, he's just sitting on top of a bed, looking at you with his nice little innocent eyes, but I know he's a fucking demon, that little hellspawn. Anyways, this motherfucking satanic doll is sitting on top of a bed, a place where you can go to hide whenever a ghost decides to roam about and try to kill you. But what's interesting about this feature of hiding from other ghosts is that you never need to use it. In fact, you'll never need to actually hide under the bed from anything, with the only time that you need to go under there is when you're solving a puzzle later on in the game. I like how the game basically laughs at you with a pause menu that does not stop the game, and with a bed that lets you hide from basically nothing except for that little fucking goddamn doll that comes down to look at you and laugh at you like the little satanic bitch that he is. But you won't face danger at all in this game. Everything in this game wants you to believe that you are, but I swear to God, there's nothing that'll hurt you. Anyways, after opening the family album box, the thing that you're here to get, the words "Get Out" are shown onto the box, and now the ghost is really just fucking with you. Satanic images are being shown on the TV, it gets changed to a camera angle of a guy previously staring at you, and so when you go pick up the book that he has finally set down, boom, the lights turn off, and he closes the front door, and when you go over to turn on the lights, he's right fucking there. It's scary as fuck. However, this is where my gripe for the game starts to show up, and that's the sound design. It's fairly empty in this game. From here on, a lot of the sounds is shit like heavy breathing or heartbeats or lights flickering, and it gets kind of bare bones. To me, some of the horror gets taken away, as I would be kind of hoping for maybe like growling from the creature or maybe a faint untuned violin playing as a music. Like, something is just missing from the sound design. I swear, if they added just a bit more, this game would be absolutely terrifying. But after you solve some more puzzles, you eventually get a flashlight, giving you a little bit more comfortability as you finally get to see what is in front of you. You can see how different paintings now have been altered to make them look a little bit more creepy. One of the light switches at the front of the house has now completely disappeared, and the best part of it all, you can see a guy who has died from, I guess, taking too much of a fat shit on the toilet. Like, rest in peace, my guy, your shitting won't go unnoticed. After a while, you find a skull in the living room that requires a teeth, a finger, and an eyeball to open. You can find these from certain rooms, and I swear to you, this is the part where I was scared the most.
Alright, cool. A weapon.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
Jesus Christ.
While you're looking for some body parts, the door to the bedroom gets chained off, making you try to find some pliers to open them back up to get another body part. When you go into the closet to get the pliers, you get met with this motherfucker. And I gotta admit, with me going on to complain about the sign design being empty, it's good that the jump scare didn't have a loud dong noise to tell you that you were being scared right now, but goddamn, dude, this dude really got me. Anyways, after opening up the skull, you get a key to an attic compartment, giving you some candles and a note telling you to light all the rooms to make the ghost weak enough for you to escape. This is where the front door opens so you can find a lighter, and this is also where the worst part of the game happens. You go through a repeating hallway in which you have to go through the right door to progress through the hallway. If you don't, you loop over, causing you to restart. I don't know if I was just dumb here, but there was no indication to the right room. Like, if you fail, a text shows up telling you that you need to listen, but there was absolutely no sound cues going on, causing my run in the game to be completely trial by error. It slowed down the pacing of the game way too much here, and I did not enjoy this part. Once you do get through the hallways though, you find yourself facing two rooms on the bottom floor. One goes outside to a barren wasteland, with the apartment complex being that of a bland cube in a red world, and the other room has a very nice looking gentleman giving you a lighter. Oh man, what a sweetheart of a guy. This is someone you should stand on Twitter. Like, what a fucking angel, bro. Making your way back to the apartment, you have to light up all the candles as the ghost tries to fuck with you one last time by transporting you to and from the red world. I really like this. Each time you get transported, a special event happens. Like the guy who died shitting on the toilet is now taking a nice house tour of the apartment with his friends, and that makes the game all the more memorable. But once all the candles are lit and the door opens, you are able to run down the stairs quickly out of the apartment, hoping that you will never see Great Grandpappy ever again or those family albums. But once you make it out of the complex, you are met with the empty world again. The same cube, the same red world, and that's it. That's the end of the game. The end. This game is fucking good. I really enjoyed playing it. Apart from the slow-paced area or the sound design that is just missing a few things, I would say this game is pretty solid. Like I said, it's about 1 hour in runtime, enough to make you invested into what's happening, while also being scared shitless out of your chair. It's a good horror game that I really enjoyed. Is it worth $7 to play? Maybe. I personally would have lowered the price just a little bit, considering that the game is fairly short. But for what it's worth, it's obvious that the game developers put a lot of passion into this, so I really don't mind paying the price of it. If I would have to, I would maybe rate the game probably a good 7.5 out of 10 in all honesty. I'm excited for what N4BA has to offer in the future, with their next game being released soon. But with that said, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, maybe hit that like button and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you all in a later video. Bye for now.